Hey, how are you? I hope this video finds you well. I'm so excited. I watched KSI against Logan Paul yesterday, the big event, and it was so amazing to watch. With my many years of boxing experience, I may actually have a different view on the match. So let's have a closer look on the match in this video. So first of all, about the whole evening, it was very interesting, very intense. It was literally from very little boxing skill, but a lot of courage, to really surprising boxing skills that some of the YouTubers have shown there. So it was a really interesting evening. Let's talk about the entrance first. Logan is very confident, he's very strong, he's actually really ripped, and he delivers a great show there at the entrance. Super confident. KSI with the mask. I don't really like the mask because it hides the feelings. You can't see his eyes, you can't see his face. Just from the body language, I got the impression that he's a little bit overwhelmed and not really into it. But then when he takes off the mask, you can see that he is really committed too, and he's also confident. So that was the setup of the fight. In the first round, I was really impressed by Logan. Man, this guy built boxing skills here. He really controlled the match in the first round with his jab, where KSI really struggled and did not find any recipe to get any punch at Logan in the first round. Logan totally controlled the match, and he even hit with the right hook from the distance, which is really hard. So it was kind of like what I predicted as it started, and both had their cardio control still. Logan controlling the match from the distance with his jab and sometimes landing a right hook. KSI tried to get into the infight, but he didn't get a chance to get into the infight because Logan had really great reflexes. He could avoid all the KSI, really all, I think most, okay, let's say most of the KSI punches, could keep him at distance with his jab. Some of the punches were not precise enough, otherwise it could already been a knockdown in first round, because Logan had some sequences where he really punched KSI a lot. And KSI took that all. He's very brave. And he's shown a big heart in the match. Also, Logan has surprisingly good reflexes there. The same is true for KSI. So they can really avoid a lot of the punches. At the beginning of the match, in the first 3 rounds, Logan is also a little bit overconfident. He's a little bit playing with KSI. He drops his guard, he's taking too much risks, and that's when I already thought, man, you're doing this when you still have a good cardio, but later on, these same things that may be games in the start, they become routine, and they become very dangerous in the last 3 rounds when your stamina is down and you're catching for air. You're gonna get hit there. It's very dangerous to do these things, especially for a beginner. It's really hard to switch during the match. Then it seems to me with round 3, KSI kind of starts to get frustrated, but also he shows a great fighter heart there, and he really starts jumping at Logan with wild swings, and because the precision isn't there in Logan's jab, he can avoid Logan's jab and basically jump at Logan and try to hit him with wild swings. And it turns out that Logan is not finding a good recipe against those wild swings in the last 3 rounds. Round 4 to 6, where KSI really shows great cardio, great confidence, and he tries to make the match with all those wild attacks at Logan. And Logan trying to keep control. And as of round 4, because he won the first 3 rounds, maybe he's trying to keep control and pull back a little bit, and KSI really not making it easy for Logan. Then round 5 is really very crucial for this match, because actually Logan was winning round 5. He had some really good scenes in round 5, but then at the very end of round 5, KSI lands some punches, and I think that may have turned round 5 for KSI. And so it really ends up Logan winning the first 3 rounds and KSI winning the later 3 rounds. Now, why is that? The scoring system in pro boxing, and that's what they applied here, it works like this. Whoever is more dominant, whoever makes the fight, whoever has the better punches will get the round. It's not about counting punches. So you may hit the other guy 20 times and he hits you only 10 times. But if his punches are more precise with more effect, he's gonna get the round. So it really, or if you're always walking backwards and the other guy is making the fight and pushing you, he doesn't even need to score because he will have dominated the round and he will get the round. And they score usually like, they give 10 points to the winner of the round in their opinion and 9 points to the loser of the round. So the last 3 rounds was really about wild punches. Logan's punches getting weaker, both of them breathing heavy, and they're also showing it. And especially Logan showing some breathing there, and that also goes to the scorecard because it makes the impression to the judges that he is more tired than KSI. So even without clear hits, KSI was making the match the last 3 rounds, and that's why he scored those last 3 rounds. One thing I noticed, we've talked about the head guard before in my previous videos. It is necessary here because they are amateurs, and you can see they're actually often going down with their heads and pushing into the opponent with their heads. And that gives very dangerous cut injuries on the head, so it's really better to wear the head guard. But also on the other side, you can see how they're constantly shifting their head guard because it's in their way, or especially with wild swings, they punch the head guard from the side and push it into your face, and so they're constantly pushing or shifting their head guards back into the right position, and that kind of breaks your boxing rhythm too. It's kind of annoying. Here I think it's still the better choice to use them because you can see that they really crash often into each other with their heads. So it's probably the better choice. Cardio is something we talked before. 6 rounds, 3 minutes. Usually in those kind of amateur events, celebrity events, they only box for 2 minutes. Because 3 minutes is really hard. You can't imagine how hard 3 minutes with only 1 minute break is. I remember when I boxed for 3 rounds, 3 minutes, how exhausted I was. And then additionally to that, there's all that pressure that really pulls out energy. In the live event, you're nervous and that really pulls out energy. So I can understand that after 3 rounds, they were kind of exhausted there. Then I have to say big respect to both of the fighters, first of all, for doing this. This actually goes out to all of the YouTubers that fought on this evening. Big respect for going into that arena with so little training. I mean, 5 months is literally nothing in boxing. I spoke about this before. Amateurs usually have more than 100 fights before they go pro. That is a lot of experience. Also, big respect here for Logan and KSI, how they speak about each other after the match. And yeah, that's just sportsmanship there from both sides. I really appreciate that. So here's my match summary. Logan very clearly won the first 3 rounds. Then KSI kind of broke his rhythm with his wild attacks, and Logan did not have a recipe. And KSI, even though he didn't hit that clearly as Logan did in the previous rounds, he still made the battle. And that's why KSI won those last 3 rounds. Round 5, I say, was very close. Like KSI really took that round back in the very last seconds of the match. So on my scorecard, I also had it a draw. 3 rounds for Logan, 3 rounds for KSI. Now the rematch, I think, will be a different story because Logan really found his weakness there, and I think it's overconfidence and cardio. He really controlled the first 3 rounds. He was literally standing there like Klitschko with his leading arm hanging down and controlling KSI from the distance. KSI not having a recipe there. So if he can keep that up for 6 rounds, that's going to be a different story. But also KSI, in the meantime, I think he will find ways to try to avoid that jab that controlled him. So I think the rematch will again be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to the rematch. In my opinion, boxing was lacking a little bit of emotion recently. That's why I haven't followed it for actually some years anymore. The lack of emotion, the lack of excitement, and those YouTubers, even though they have not the greatest boxing skills, it's no comparison to real pros at the moment. They brought that excitement, and that was really cool and an awesome event. It was a great event to watch. I really enjoyed it, and I think that's the way sport's gonna go. I talked about this before. Check out this video right here, where I talk about how traditional cable TV is dying because social media and YouTube, whole new concepts taking over. And they can really pull a new and bigger audience into sport. I'm also impressed how Logan actually seems to have a really clear view during the whole fight, because usually amateurs, they forget everything. Once you step up those stairs to the ring and it's your first match, you're gonna forget everything. You're like in a tunnel view. But Logan seems to have had a really clear view during the whole match. And also his match analysis right after match is very impressive. Pretty much right. I'll put the link to that match analysis after the fight in the video description, so you can check it out there. And please leave a like on this video and subscribe to StorySpotlight for more amazing stories, and see you in the next video.